Coffee Club, Coffee Club. Grind your beans and grab your favorite mug. It's Ollie, Morgan, George, and Gus. It's them boys from Coffee Club. Boys from Coffee Club.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Coffee Club podcast for episode 156. Finally back in the studio, and boy, does it feel good.
I've never been more comfortable in my life.
This feels amazing.
It
sounds amazing. It sounds amazing.
I feel like I'm in a dream right now.
Everything just feels right.
In a trance.
I'm not hearing your guys' voice like 2 to 3 seconds after your mouth moves on the screen.
It's weird.
With European Wi-Fi. It's outstanding.
Yeah, this really just cements how fucking terrible recording over the internet is compared to being here in our comfortable studio.
Just put out an apology for our last couple of months.
Yeah, sorry about that, guys.
Thanks for bearing with us. And now back to regularly scheduled, just outstanding production level.
Top tier. I don't know. It makes me feel like maybe we should just take like 3-month breaks in the future. It's just
a lot of the famous like shows that go every week, they sometimes have like 2-week breaks. Like John Oliver's show, even though it's not a podcast, like they would do like back to back to back to back and then like 3 weeks off.
The only issue is, our break would be potentially 3 to 4 months.
Well, but if we're
maybe at times the most interesting part of the season.
Yes, but if we're in person, we could bank like 1 or 2 and then spread them out in person when we're in Europe.
But it's just hard because when we're in Europe is when there's the most week to week current.
We can just like guess how we're going to race and just like recap them.
This season will be a lot easier.
As if we ran.
Yeah.
This season will be a lot easier coming up, I think.
Like the next season?
Well, this coming season.
Yeah, because we won't be in Europe for so long.
We'll be less in Europe, more in the US probably.
I think so as well.
So it might be easier.
Definitely.
We probably are on like pretty similar level to John Oliver at this point, Ollie, though. I think that's a solid comparison.
Dude, I've been watching so many. I've been watching so much of his content. He's just like, he does not give a fuck, and I love it.
Is there anything we should take from it?
I mean, I feel like I wish we had writers like he did, where they just had brilliant jokes about the current events or like about running. Like,
all right, Tom Wayne, don't take that personally.
Yeah, well, Wayne needs to step up. Tom Wayne needs to step up, and no, he doesn't.
Direct shot.
No, he doesn't. He's the manager. He doesn't have to write anything for us. It's more Gus. Gus needs to step up and write some stuff for us. But
true.
Yeah, I don't know. I just like how witty those shows are, and I feel like we can use some of that.
We can aspire to it at least.
Back. Yeah.
We can watch it as hype up like montages before we roll out and do our own show. But
we could just start using some of his stuff.
Yeah, honestly.
If our show's getting a bit boring, we can just cut in like a John Oliver segment in the middle for everyone to enjoy. Yeah. Just fully steal it from him.
Ollie just loves him because he makes fun of New Zealand. That's like 90% of it, I swear.
Yeah. Nim. He did. That one's good. But he makes fun of Australia as well.
Yeah, he makes fun of everything, I guess.
Not as much.
Well, he does make fun of.
He makes fun of Australia, New Zealand a lot more because I think of the bird. That
I did finally watch that one.
Yeah, it's really. But the thing is, he picks like the bird that he believes should win, and it's like the most amazing bird ever. And then he makes fun of the kiwi bird and stuff like that. Anyway,
I have no idea what you guys are talking about.
It's quite good. He makes fun of New Zealand and Australia, but mostly New Zealand. Nice. So I do enjoy that.
It was election. He was tampering with an election in New Zealand for
the bird election.
Was it successful?
Yeah, it was. Everyone voted for it.
He just picked a bird of the year, and he just made everyone.
He decided which one was.
He just made everyone in America vote for this bird he wanted.
He literally did all this marketing as well. He had all the billboards and stuff in New Zealand. Like
he paid
so much money for it. It was very funny.
Well done.
It was really good.
Hopefully soon we'll get to that level where we can tamper in New Zealand's elections.
Yeah. What do we have in store today, Morg?
A lot of it is just checking in, just catching up with the boys and where we've been, especially because we haven't recorded for a little bit now, up to date. But I mean, it's just, we'll be hanging out. There's been some news going on in the running world, but I mean, we like to talk about what we know more so than what's out there in the ether. So we'll see what we get to today.
Speculate.
Yeah, Ollie, actually, I take that back. I like
to speculate. You like to go by facts.
Yeah.
So.
We're a nice bounce. But before we do get into it, we will start previewing or hyping up some of the things that we're doing in the upcoming weeks. And one of them is we're going back to the New York Marathon. I think Ollie and I, unfortunately, George has other obligations a wedding to attend. But pretty much check the description for all the details. We're going to be doing a live podcast in the On Labs, which is in Soho, giving
I'm
away
so jealous.
limited edition Artican bracelets, which do look sick. Apparently, there's only about 40 seats there in person. I guess you can sit on people's laps. So we'll say about max 80 people can attend.
Even maybe 120 if you're feeling very, very.
Three, yeah, there is 2 knees to sit on.
You got
That
2
is true.
knees.
I'll zoom in from the wedding.
Be perfect. Put up
Suited up.
George. Hopefully
I
super
hope
wasted.
you're drunk as well. That'd
Yeah.
be hilarious. We just called George and his hair's just completely just raggled,
That'd be
ties
ideal.
undone.
But yeah, check the description for that. We'll be talking about that more. Come join us there. Join our cheer section, etc., etc. Once again, Helen O'Beary is racing, and so we will be cheering very loud for her.
She's ridiculously fit. That's all you need to
That's
know.
what I've heard.
We just say that we just say that all
Yeah.
the time though. But
And
this
it's
time
always
we
true.
actually mean it.
No, it's always. I think we meant it every time.
Yeah, we have. But this time, like seriously, guys.
No, well,
Seriously,
but like she wasn't at the Olympics and she still got a medal.
It's
That's
crazy.
that's how different it is. No,
Well-
actually, the real reason I'm not going back is because I just became a super spreader last year for COVID.
Was that? That was right.
that
after
was
New
that
York.
was New York Marathon trip.
Oh, I missed that because I couldn't walk.
Well, yeah, you didn't come last
Yeah,
year.
I couldn't walk. I had my sacrum stress
Like,
reaction.
I'm not
one
coming
day.
this year.
One day before.
The day before, yeah.
That was a very dramatic couple of weeks there.
Yeah.
Just looking back on it.
Yeah, it wasn't a great time for Coffee Club Central.
Yeah.
I don't know. Have we ever got to New York together? Even
Milrose.
But
Milrose.
Ollie was not there this last time.
No, but
Oh,
Morgan
no.
ran the 3K. You ran the 3. No,
Wait.
Morgan wasn't there for that when you won the 3K.
And then the year before when me and you went, Morgan didn't go.
And the year
Yeah.
before that, like 2 years in a row. I believe 2 years in a row,
Yeah.
you guys went without me.
yeah.
And then me and
then
you went without
and then
Ollie.
I was out. 'cause I
And now
was-
you guys are going without me.
Yeah.
What's
We have
going
to
on
go-
with New
We
York?
have to go
I
to
don't know.
Milrose. We have to all go together. Milrose, we just all go together.
I don't think I'm going to go to Monroe's this year.
Well, then fuck you. You're just a part of the problem, okay? You come
I
to
don't think it's
Milrose.
on the schedule.
It's on the schedule?
Well, I haven't had. I don't think it's on the schedule.
Put it on the schedule, Morgan.
Why don't we put
There's some.
something else on the schedule?
But it has to be New York based.
Yeah, and something else New York
Okay,
based.
I was gonna say if it's New York based, then we can all turn up. The three
There's
of us.
there's some higher power preventing us from.
What happens if we all go to New York together?
I think we'd be too powerful.
Yeah.
I think the running world would explode.
Mm.
It would just be too much coffee club.
I wonder which one of our
Too much
enemies.
coffee
Which one of our enemies is stopping us from going to New York?
Probably Grant's girl.
You think Cooper Tier?
Teardrop?
Oh,
He doesn't run New York.
it's obviously Chris Chavez.
Oh, Chiqui
Hmm.
Chavez. Okay.
It's
Yeah.
gotta be.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking of someone that actually is in New York.
Look at him up. Look at him up there on that poster. He's looking down on us.
Yeah.
He actually
looking
got,
so
he
evil.
just got married recently, I saw.
Really?
Yeah. Congratulations, Chiqui
But now he's even more
Chavez.
powerful.
He's just got married. Congrats. And thanks for the invite for the three of us. We really appreciate you inviting us to
Sorry
the
we
wedding.
couldn't come.
Sorry we couldn't come. And I mean, I'm sure our invite will turn up in the mail eventually, but yeah. Cheers.
Yep.
Congratulations, mate.
So talking of marathoning, so the biggest marathon this past week was held in Chicago, and we're not going to try to talk about it very much, but we are just going to mention the absolute bananas performance from Ruth. What's her last name?
Chepngetich?
She broke the world record. I'm sure everyone knows this. She broke the women's world record, breaking 2:10 for the first time ever done by a female. And I just want to get our reactions to it because
Tell me the pace. So what's the pace on that? That's what
she went through half in 64:30.
oh, yeah, that was already the fastest half marathon on American soil, I think.
The splits, I don't think you're allowed to even like calculate them because they'll break whatever device you're trying to crunch the numbers on because they're just that red hot, ridiculous. I don't even know what to think. Like, well,
It's faster than 5 minute pace. I'm sure. 5 minute pace is like in the 2:10s. I'm pretty sure.
yeah, it's
Need to fact check that. We need like a desk over
being
there
a
where
marathon
someone's like
expert.
telling us
It's
the
definitely
pace.
not one of the three of us.
Well, I can step in. I do think that this is the thing for me. Like when I heard 2:10 for a marathon for a male marathoner, I thought that's pretty good.
you think they're really good?
Yeah, like that's really good. Like that's most professional. Like
That's
professional
probably-
marathon runners like 2:10.
You might be sitting around top 5, top 10
And
Australian
if you're
all
breaking
time.
2:10, you're pretty good. I mean, like Jack Rayner ran 2:11 at the Melbourne Marathon recently, and Genevieve Lacazcaz ran 2:28, I think.
I think so.
But they both ran that, and like that's pretty good pretty good race for Jack Reno. He would have been 2 minutes behind her.
Yeah.
2 minutes behind her. And Jack Reno's an Olympian. That's insane. Like, that is insane. She ran 2:09. I actually, when I woke up and I saw it, I thought it said 3:09. I was like, wow, that was a slow marathon. That must have been very tactical.
Tough conditions in.
And then I rubbed my eyes and it said 2:09 and I almost threw my phone out the window. I was like, this is ridiculous. I'm never going to have a marathon career at this point. Like, that's insane.
She would have been top 10 in the men's race, huh?
I think so, yeah. Or, I don't know if, is it?
I think Reed was 11th and 2:10.
She did beat Reed.
She beat Reed
I saw that. I saw that.
Like, this dude's like a really good marathon
bonkers.
runner. Like, what the?
So the pace is 4:57
Jeez.
or 3:0. Was it like 3:06
Did you guys
or
watch
something?
it all? Like, did she look like she was like hurting it all, or she just like jogging?
I watched it a little bit early on, and then I put it back on when she probably had only 10 minutes, like for the final 10 minutes of her race, and she looked pretty good. It was like once she crossed the finish line, she got the Kenyan flag, and she ran back down the straight celebrating. So she wasn't that tired in the moment. She hugged her agent, hugged the race organizer, and then she was like took off sprinting. She was not like fucked, or at least she didn't seem it. The adrenaline, the joy was more powerful. When I like watched it, I was like, okay, this does not seem possible. This seems really impossible. The only caveat that I will put on it, because there is a lot of people have been like, I think Dylan on the run this morning was saying what equivalent based on the scoring tables, what equivalent times that is for, let's say, the 1500, or I think it was a 150 800. I think it was like a 4-minute mile, like crazy stuff for women's. But the thing that does make it different is that she did have pacemaking for 99.9% of it.
Men.
Yeah, she does have a male pacemaker for the entire time. So you got to think of, I guess, the compounding effect of that over 42 kilometers is crazy. But I mean, I think all the past 10 world records have had male pacemakers.
What about the conditions? Because Chicago is quick.
Apparently they're amazing.
They're amazing conditions unless you had a bad race.
Yeah,
I saw some people that had bad. I saw. I'm not trying to throw shade here, but this is what happened. I'm like, she ran sub 2:10. It must be the best conditions ever. And then I saw some people that had bad races saying how the conditions were bad. I guess
who are some people?
I'm not going to say their names.
Do we know them?
Of course. I didn't go on some random person's Instagram profile.
All right, fair enough. Well, we won't get into that.
But the conditions must have been amazing if a woman is breaking 2:10.
Both world records are now held in Chicago.
Yeah.
I mean, like Chicago is like very, very fast course, right?
Used to always be Berlin, I felt like.
Yeah. Well, growing up for us, it was Haile Gebrselassie breaking it in Berlin. And I was the previous women's one from Berlin as well. I think it maybe was.
The Asifa girl.
But
I feel like it might have been.
Yeah. I wonder what she could run for a half marathon. Surely it'd be, I mean, the women's half marathon times are already crazy, but I imagine if a woman broke 60. Like, I don't think she would break 60, but
that's got to be.
She's not that far away from that level. If you're running under 2:10.
That's bonkers.
Right, 61, 62.
I was already scared that if, like, to ever run a marathon, that it would just be slower than women. And now it's like a very real possibility of like never running that.
For us, for the three of us, I think that's the most intimidating and daunting aspect of it, is that we know so many really, 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 really good male runners that have not run that fast in the marathon.
Yeah.
Like so many. So many. So that's what makes it really hit home to like how's that happen? Why are you smiling?
Because I know who you're talking about, so I'm good now.
Curiosity just got a bit over.
My question is now though, so like 2:09, I guess Joe Clicker did make this comment. I loved it. After the 2:09 run, Joe texted in the group chat, with a Dathan impersonation kind of hanging around, he's like, Helen's definitely in 2:08 shape. So 2:08 in the marathon, that's my prediction for Helen. That's just out there right now. Easy. But to be honest, like, dude, do you think like the super shoes, the pacing, the conditions, like, is that stuff, is it just going to keep getting people closer to that? Or is this going to be just one of those records where you're just never going to see anybody get near it for 10, 20 years?
I mean, I kind of thought that about 2:11.
Yeah,
2:11 was
I thought
already,
the previous one was...
So 2:11 was already a massive jump from like 2:14 or something.
Which is nuts. 2:11's nuts. Like,
and then 2:11 to 2:09?
So do you think it's just going to keep going? Like people can get closer to 2:10 and under even?
I don't know, but what's the
I doubt
equivalent
it.
of men? What's the equivalent of like women having male pacemakers till the end? Like, what's the equivalent of men having that?
Just a car in front of
the
them.
Ineos Sub 2
Yeah.
project.
Why doesn't every marathon just allow swapping in and out then?
It is.
Like, that's so much of an advantage for women.
It is pretty weird that they
Or
do
why don't
allow
we get a
that.
bike or something?
Yeah.
I say we. I'm not out there.
Let's make
but-
Are they allowed to? Is a woman allowed to set a world record in a men's race on the track? Surely not. If it doesn't
Don't
happen.
think so.
If it doesn't happen, then surely not. Otherwise,
this
it
point, what's the
wouldn't be happening.
difference?
But yeah, I don't get why you would allow it for
Dude, you
one
throw faith-
specific.
You throw faith in one of those men's 1500s? Like,
Yeah,
She's probably running
cooking.
40.
she's running
47.
345.
She's cooking.
Like, because she has
Seriously.
to do all the work at the end.
Yeah, she does.
You put her on a train? Dude, why not?
Okay, well,
Let's
don't
find
give
out.
any Nike employees that are listening to this any ideas. But that's literally would be the next thing is like this sub 4 minute mile for a woman for Faith.
I can
With the
faith could
perfect-
do
Oh,
that.
they're
Pacing.
100%. They're probably already planning that.
Yeah.
Already planning that.
Yeah,
It's in the works.
It's already in the works. And Mondo's going to be racing her as well. So Mondo will try and beat her. But,
I mean, I guess there was a lot of chat about who was going to race
Mondo and Sydney,
Femke or someone.
it was Sydney McLaughlin.
Wait.
Oh, no. Keely Hodgkinson and Femke Ball
Oh,
over
yeah.
600.
No, there was one that was like a dude and a chick, though. There was like chat about
was it Mondo?
Maybe it was another Mondo one. Mondo and Femke over 400. So
I think
maybe
it
I'm
was.
making
No,
it
it
up.
was,
No,
I thought it was Sydney McLaughlin and Mondo. I thought Mondo was going to race Sydney on a flat 400. That's right. There was talk about it. I don't know.
Well, that got to be too far.
There's
for
no way
Mondo.
Sydney would agree to it, but
I don't know.
unless there's a big fat check waiting for her.
It might be.
Yeah, there could be. I mean,
Maybe
they
Grand
put
Slam
a lot
will,
of money into
maybe
it.
Grand Slam will do mixed.
They're gonna
Mixed gender
sign. They're gonna
races.
sign Mondo to just like do any of the events.
Honestly, they would
Just
get
put 'em in.
they would get people to come
Yeah.
in. Like they would sell tickets doing that.
100%. Kyle, never think about it. Think about it.
I think we've probably given
Way too much.
Merba like all of the ideas he
We've
has.
given way
I'd
too many
say.
free ideas, guys. We got to like lock these down.
Yeah, create our own rival league. Take them down. Put these
The
good
level,
ideas
they
into
call the
money.
Chicken Boy Morgs League.
One day.
One day.
How many runners left? That'd be just
No, they would all break their contracts and sign with us anyway because they
it'd
like
just be
us.
so good.
It'd be just worth it because we will offer them so much more money.
We offer them just the pleasure of working with us.
Yeah.
Isn't that what it is?
You can't put a dollar value on that.
Nah, there's no price on that.
Literally cannot.
So yeah, that's the Chicago. That's the only recap we'll do of the Chicago Marathon. But it was absolutely crazy. Absolutely.
She won the
crazy.
men's race as well, didn't she?
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm pretty
Well,
sure.
it is a crazy time in the world that the men are running. I think 202, and that's just
And that's
like
not even like
Didn't make
it's
a
just
headline
normal.
anywhere.
It's just normal
didn't make any news.
now to run on a quick course for men to run 202. That's absolutely unreal and quite intimidating. So yeah, watch out for our debut coming soon. Next year after maybe, we'll see. But yeah, we also, before we get into the other topics, do want to give a little shout out to, is it Ned Brockman?
Yep.
Does he have a nickname? I don't know.
I don't know, but he's got that mullet.
Fat Mullet.
So
Very, very.
looks very Australian.
What a figure. He's currently doing he's running at Homebush,
Mm-hmm.
doing many laps around the Homebush track for 7 days straight, trying to break. What is it? I don't even know. Is it the 1,000-mile world record or something?
I didn't even know it was I thought he was just doing it. I thought he was just trying to
Just
run
doing
1,000
it?
miles. It was
Maybe.
There is a record involved, I think.
He's
But
saying-
he's mostly raising money for homelessness in
Yeah.
Australia, and he's already raised $1 million, which
That's
is
1.7 today.
well,
and he's at
almost 2 million.
he's at 1,400 Ks. So like 200 Ks to go maybe.
Yeah,
Sheesh. Do you guys watch any of the Instagram videos that he posts?
yeah.
I
He's-
don't.
He looks so stiff.
It looks painful.
like he's dying.
Yes.
It looks like what
It looks like what you would expect.
yeah.
I
It looks like what you
suppose.
expect. It looks like Dathan after pacing Alicia Monson.
Is that
That's
the
what it
thing I
looks
was reading that he started out on day one his shoe size was like a 9 and now he's wearing like size 12s
Yeah.
or something?
That
'Cause
would
his
probably
feet
be
are
right
swollen
because I saw a video
His feet
and
are so
he has,
swollen.
He has all this strapping around his ankles and stuff. And I thought it was a video of him like not being able to do it, but I guess he's still doing it. I
He's
don't
had a
know.
lot of treatment, I think.
Apparently he's doing like walk 200, jog 200 now. I think he's hurting. But
Yeah.
I mean, shit, good on him. Raising millions of dollars.
Yeah,
Charity.
yeah. Big shout out to him doing a lot of good out there. Hopefully we can do something like that. We can do the lap around America. I don't know what our equivalent would be. Laps around the indoor CU track, maybe.
I just raised money. I don't know if I could. I don't know if I could run 1,600 kilometers after like all the shit we go through with our bodies. I would rather
You
just like
drink 1,000 Mountain Dews or something.
I would just do like
That'd be easier.
race me race me something and then just give me a beer.
Yeah, we'll focus on running less miles, but running them faster.
Yeah,
That's I guess our specialty.
Somehow put alcohol in it. Works well for me.
That's
and
our
then I'll
specialty.
raise money with it.
Perfect. All right, we'll circle back around to that one day. But yeah, well, with some of the news out of the way, I think it's time to just take a little step back and just check in, see how the three of us are doing, see what's been going on in our very exciting lives in the past few weeks since we last checked in. I guess we should start off with George. You want to go first on the Gucci watch?
Yeah, let's do the Gucci watch. Actually, well, first of all, this is one I want to chat to you guys about. I just went to my first bachelor party this weekend, and never been to one before. But also, terrible fucking name for a party. What do you guys call that in Australia?
Bucks.
Huh?
Bucks night.
Bucks. Stag.
It's Bucks night.
Stag do.
Yeah, we
Stag
say
do or Bucks. Well, I got Bucks night and Hens night. That's
Is
what we do.
Bucks-
we say stag and hens.
We say
Is Bucks? I've lived in America for too long. Is Bucks an American thing or Australian thing
I thought it was
or British thing?
I thought it was Australian.
I feel like
Growing up,
stag do sounds really British to me, so I think it makes
That's
sense
the
for
one
our
we do.
countries to adopt it.
I haven't heard Bucks
Let me
before.
look it up because I don't want to.
But I have a big problem with
Bucks night.
bachelor parties. Like so cringy, like bachelor and bachelorette.
It's one of those things that I've never really taken the time to think about, but now that you say it,
Yeah, Bucks night is Australian.
Okay.
Stag do is British.
But
And
we
then
definitely say
American was bachelor
Bachelor.
that. I
party.
mean, I'm not saying like stag's like a super sick name or anything, but
Well, no, but I mean, you hear of stag, bachelor. We
feel
all
like-
know what it means. We all know like what it.
I feel like it's like embarrassing saying you're going to a bachelor party or like bachelorette, or I don't know.
I've never been embarrassed until maybe this point forward.
No, I guess I wasn't, but it was a lot of fun with my college roommate and saw some guys from the team, and it was a really nice time. But
What'd you guys do?
just thought I'd bring that up. We were at the beach in Cali, basically Santa Barbara, or one town down from Santa Barbara. It's called Carpinteria.
You can get good haircut in Santa Barbara.
How do you know that?
How do you know that?
Santa Barbara.
So true.
It's terrible.
He liked that one. He liked that one. Look, he's smirking. If you're watching, he's smirking. He loves that one. Geordie got a haircut in Santa Barbara.
No, I mean a little bit of drinking, a little bit of some games, some beach. Played a lot of spike ball.
Did you get shit faced or you just were sensible, George?
I'm not gonna say that on here, but no. I mean, I drank a lot less than
everyone else?
than the Bachelor or the. Is that what he's called?
He should be drinking.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
Did you guys?
We made him drink a boot. You could order a boot of
Nice.
beer. It was kind of funny.
Did you do any shenanigans with him? Like, hey, I don't know if you hate on a.
hazing's kind of the right word. I don't know if it's the right word, but it's like kind of. The
I don't know.
right
What not pick
Something
fun at him,
pranks-
but you do
pranks.
something. Pranks or something. Yeah.
We tried to get him to sing some embarrassing karaoke, but no, we didn't really.
Did you guys wear matching shirts?
No, we actually didn't.
I feel like I would want to do that just for the lols.
This is what I want to do for my one. I want everyone to go to a thrift store and pick out the most embarrassing. You get to pick one person. You have to pick out like the most embarrassing thing you can find, like outfit wise, at a thrift store, and then they have to wear it on the night out.
That's a good
That's
way
actually
to.
quite good.
Yeah, I want to do that
like
for my bachelor. Like everyone picks like you get one person, and then the group decides what I wear, like the group, but then you guys do individual. I think that'd be fun because that to me is like kind of fun.
Yeah, that's a good one.
But what else did you guys do other than drink a boot of beer and hang around the barbershops?
I don't know, just whatever else you do at a beach weekend. And
Did you go for like surfing or swimming or
just swimming?
Yeah.
No waves really
no
on
waves?
that beach. But also, I think it's too early. Like I think like surfing's like mostly like the waves get better / bigger in the winter. But it is like one beach up from Rincon. You know Rincon Point?
October. Yeah, that makes sense. November.
Apparently, like November, December gets good there.
It's good. Yeah.
That's what they told me.
I mean, sometimes it's all right in October. But
no waves on whatever beach we were at anyway.
Yeah.
Or at least they were very small.
Yeah.
But that was the weekend.
Nice.
Gooch, I forgot. I didn't even update Gooch.
George's G spot. Gooch spot.
I don't remember. I don't think I'd run yet since the last time we did Gooch Watch, but made a little bit of progress there. Running a little bit on the ground, a little bit on the boost. No consecutive days yet. Kind of day on, day off of cross training, still a decent amount. And then, yeah, combination of ground running, boost running, still in slow progress. And like, I mean, just running just doesn't feel that good after taking 2 months off. Like takes a while for the body to adapt to the load again. So, yeah, slow progress, but Jason is here today. So I've seen Jason for the first time since pre-race in Paris, which would be super nice. And yeah, just taking along.
Nice.
But yeah, that's it. That's Scooch Watch.
Good progress still. Love to hear it. Very
I'm in
nice.
no rush, so not too worried that it's going slow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is what it is.
We got about a year to peak.
Yeah,
When's World Champs? September. 11 and a half months, 11 months. I don't know.
something like that.
Got time. We got time. Well, good to hear the progress has continued. And I feel like at this point, it'll just be like a ball that'll continue rolling and pick up speed, pick up momentum, and keep going. And especially, I guess we haven't even said this for everyone listening. We officially meet back together as a team next Monday, this coming Monday, for training together. And so once you get back in that routine, everything flows very nicely as well.
1 week from practice.
Yeah, very excited for that. So, yeah. Ollie, what's going on in your life? What shenanigans have you been up to?
Fair amount of shenanigans. A lot of concerts. I was in Krusty Butt last weekend, which was really fun. Dude, I tell you what, it's a pretty amazing place, Crested Butte. I think we were maybe a week late from like the real big like fall color change, but we still got to see a lot, and it was quite beautiful. Got to do some hikes. Went to a few bars, grabbed some. I think is it Secret Stash is a big pizza place up there. We went there.
Didn't you see some coffee club fans?
I did see some coffee club fans up in near Camp for Coffee. Saw some fans there. I mean, the coffee at Camp for Coffee is definitely like, maybe more not as espresso much. You can get like
American style.
American style. You can get
But
more
it's
American
cute.
style coffee.
It's very cute.
And
It's nice mountain time.
the cool
mountain
thing
town
about
cute.
it is like the history behind it. It's like it was like an old timber shed or like a coal shed. For, like,
It's literally the
mines.
smallest building in the world.
Yeah, and then it has like number plates all over the building. It's very, very cool. Shout out to Emma Coburn for helping me out with runs because I was able to go on a couple of runs there.
You feeling altitude?
Oh yeah, and also I was just drinking heavily, so I felt pretty bad.
Combination of
Nice.
hangover and 9,000 feet.
Oh,
That'll get you really fit.
I drank.
I think that probably would actually.
I think I had.
Did you drink 100 beers?
No, but I drank. We went to this really cool family style like dinner place with my girlfriend and her family, and it was very fun. But my girlfriend's brother and I, Jackson and her dad, were very excited to go to the next place, which is called Bones. It's a tequila bar. Like it's really like Mexican restaurant. We went there and I had way too many margaritas. I was feeling it the next day. I thought my head was going to explode. And then I went out for a 9-mile run.
Nice.
And sweated it out and felt good and went again the next day. But yeah, I went to a few concerts. Been hanging out with the CEO of the podcast and overall chubby boy Angus McLovin Hall. So that's been fun. Body feels pretty good. Honestly, mentally though, I've fucking hated running alone. I fucking hated it. I am ready to be running with groups again and just talking to people because like it's nice to run your own a few times, but then you really do miss just being able to run with a group and have a chat and let the run kind of go. Whereas like I feel like particularly when you're coming back into it and every run's slightly getting a bit longer and you're on your own, it's like damn, like this is
Yeah, once you're running 8 miles plus, it gets pretty boring.
It gets pretty boring on your own. So it's been nice to maybe jump in with a few people, Kai and Dylan, Avery, when I can. But yeah, that's the only thing that's been kind of negative. So I'm very much looking forward to when practice starts. What else have I been doing? I've been organizing my place. I've had people like painting my windows, and they've been just like walking around my porch and my side thing, just like painting stuff. So like it was pretty awkward today. Before this podcast, I was playing some Overwatch, and I literally had underwear on, nothing else, and then my windows were like kind of open, and this guy's just on the fucking window, ladder, just painting it, looking at me while I'm walking around in my underwear,
Lucky him.
playing video games and drinking soda. So interesting vibe.
Lucky him.
And then, but
Well,
yeah,
most importantly, we have to get to the organizing of the gala,
yes. So I had an idea for the gala. I'm sure
which we talked about on the podcast.
the fridge to fridge. Did we talk about fridge to fridge?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I put in a message to our group chat, which is our group chat without Dathan, for the team, just to say, hey, like, this is my idea. And I thought it would be fun. I was looking at organizing to hire a party bus, and then the bus would start at the furthest away house on the team, and then move all the way to my place. Final challenge at my place, maybe a few pre-gram drinks, and then we'd head to the bars because I live the closest to like the bars on Pell Street.
What's an example challenge?
So the challenge I was going to do at my house,
Kiss as many guys as possible.
Morgan,
But that'd
Morgan.
probably be what my house would be.
that's exactly what it is. Congratulations, you win a free beer. No, my challenge was going to be, I was going to have like a PowerPoint, and it was going to be like runners. And if somebody couldn't name that runner, they would have to pass to the next person and the next person. And then eventually, if nobody could name that runner, everybody would be out. But the last person to not score that would have to take a shot. So I had a game like that.
I like that game because I think we'd do pretty well, and Yard would just be absolutely
Yeah,
wasted.
so what would happen is, like, for example, and then we'd have teams. So like if your team kept losing, they'd have to take a shot. So there'd be like, I think there was 4 rounds of it I had. And then there's, I think, Yard and Mario at their place were going to do a beer cart round. And then I think Joe and Sage had something else planned, but we're going to scrap that idea. Morgan.
This is news to George.
Yeah, Morgan spoke to me in the gym about it because I asked him what he thought, and he just thought that it was logistically probably not going to be possible. What's the business term that we're pivoting?
We're pivoting. Well, my thing was just I was like, Ollie, I think it's great that you have. I like where your head's at. I think it's great that you're shooting for the stars and that you're thinking in this type of way. But I just cannot imagine that many people on our team being prepared to host and to also be up for partying at so many locations. I said it like, if we were to have like party ranking, like if there was a ranking system for parties, like for video games, so like platinum, diamond, gold, silver, bronze, I think we're bronze level partiers.
I'm not bronze.
I'm not saying you. I'm saying the group that's partying.
What do you think Yared is?
He's probably diamond. He's probably top 500.
Well, this is the thing.
He's top 500.
I agree with you with that, but I do think that's why I put non-alcoholic options in my message, as well as if people didn't want to do the challenges, they don't have to, but they have to.
Well, it's not the drinking that's the issue with me for looking at the team. It's more just the amount of effort. Like, okay, I was just like, so we never go out as a team in Boulder, you know? So for us to have a special occasion for the whole team to be together, we don't have to do something that crazy for it to be special and to be fun for us.
I just thought it would be fun because I know we're all competitive people. So I know that would be fun because there'd be a competitive element there.
No, I 100%. This is what I said. I said we should do the games, but let's just do it at one place rather than 7.
Correct. But this is the issue. Nobody wants to host it.
But and then my pushback on this was that, well, then if you're doing a fridge to fridge, then 7 people are hosting.
Which is why I thought if no one's going to host it, everyone has to host a little bit of it, which means there'll be a time limit.
But it sounds like you want to host it.
No, I am going. Look, because I'm the closest to the bars.
It sounds like you want to host it.
Just listen. Because I'm the closest to the bars, that's why my place would end there. If I lived in Gun Barrel, then we'd have to have George finish it because it's in Boulder, and then we'd have to Uber into Pearl Street.
Yeah.
That's just the way I had the listing down, is that we go start in Longmont, which is the furthest away, into Boulder.
But it does sound like you wanna host it.
Well, I want the gala to happen.
Yes.
Which means that I will have to host it because no one else is gonna put their hand up. That's just reality. No one's gonna want to do it. We talked about the freshmen doing it, but they've just moved in. Their landlord's down the road, so they feel uncomfortable doing it. Yared and Mario said their house is not logistically good for hosting a party. George has other roommates that aren't on the team, so like there's also logistic there. Everybody else lives in an apartment.
Well, yeah, compared to the past 3 years, it's already a massive step down because we're not really hosting a party anyway. It's a pregame.
No one can host
It's a pregame.
No one can host it. And my place,
Pregame's sometimes the best part, though.
I agree.
If I hosted if I had a big house, then it would be different. But I feel like because of the location I'm in and because I like to have a good time, I think, yes, it's going to be at my place.
It makes sense to have it at your place if
Yes,
you're
it
going to do a
does.
pregame
It does.
because it's walking distance.
Yes.
So it does also make sense for that.
Yes. Did I know?
I'm definitely down for some games.
Did I know it was going to end up at my place? I was like, yeah, probably. Like talking to.
Well, based on the
people
fridge
about
to
it.
fridge, it was going to end up at your place.
Yes, it was. But the fridge to fridge was going to end at my place, and then we were going to go to the bars. We weren't going to hang around my place.
Yeah. But that's kind of what we'll probably, I mean,
We're going to be hanging around my place.
you don't think we'll go, I think we'll still go to the bars.
We will, but
More at
Maybe
your
we will
place.
because this might be the first year we don't host it on a Sunday. Didn't we?
It is.
Isn't the
It's
last 3
hosted-
years it's been Sunday night?
it's hosted on the
Yeah,
19th.
I think you're right.
So we'll go Saturday for once.
So that should be a good night to go.
Is it Saturday?
What
It is
did you
Saturday,
say?
yeah.
I think you said
19th is a
Saturday.
Saturday, right?
Saturday,
yeah.
yeah.
So it's on Saturday. So that'll be fun.
We should
want
definitely
everybody-
organize some challenges.
Yeah, I will. Okay, so we're going to rechange it after talking to Morgs.
And teams.
We're-
Teams is a
we're gonna
great
have-
idea.
We're going to have teams.
Costumes.
The theme is still Halloween. So what we're going to do is we're going to set up teams, and your team can do a Halloween theme for your team in particular, which is going to be another challenge. You have to guess.
Why don't the teams just pick their own themes?
Well, because I've already bought a Halloween costume. So I bought one for Meg because I'm going to a concert as well as I'm also going to another Halloween thingy on the 26th. So I don't want to buy multiple costumes. I'm just going to wear the same one.
Three
to
times.
3 different events. But
So whoever's on your team has to abide
Has
by
to
your
match by
theme.
you.
yeah.
Maybe that's
Well,
fair
it's my
enough if
it's
he's
my fucking-
hosting.
dude,
If
it's
he's
my-
hosting, he could probably
That's
get
the
away with
power.
it.
fucking
That's
house.
the power that you get.
It's my fucking house. But I'm going to set up a list of everybody that wants to come.
Should
And then-
we just be like team captains?
So
Because it's the Coffee Club Gala
so
still.
what I'm doing
Yeah, are we still sponsoring it?
is Jenna's not here, is she?
No.
So I'm separating couples and I'm like mixing them all up because I want people to be engaged in.
I thought you just said that you and your girlfriend have a costume together.
But her costume can work with other things. I
Oh.
think my costume is very specific.
I thought they were like a joint costume.
it is a joint costume, but her side of that joint,
I'm so confused now.
her side of the joint costume could work with other
Could
themes.
go with a
whereas
different theme.
My theme probably only stays the same.
Okay.
If that makes sense. But also I'm sure Meg loves Halloween. She probably has multiple costumes in the back pocket. I don't have that unless I have to buy another one, which I might have to now thinking about it. But we're going to have teams, we're going to have challenges, and there's going to be awards.
Cool. Sounds like a
And
great time.
I do have I have to talk to my neighbor Steve first because I don't want him to freak out because he will freak out.
We'll just pay him off.
Well, I already gave him 5 pairs of on shoes. So hopefully
That's
That's
not bad.
pretty good
That's pretty
payment.
good.
I gave him some a few weeks ago. But I'm going to tell him and I'm going to have a time limit. Like maybe like 10, 30.
Whatever's like a reasonable enough time to go out.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
But I'm going to let him know. My place also has the upstairs balcony and then the bedroom area. I might try and like set up maybe some seats out there as well. And then we can do different teams, do different stuff and then rotate and
Nice.
do the same thing. But that's about it. I got to get Gusty's costume as well. So,
And
go
his
do that.
approval.
but that's the plan. So that's the plan we're going to do, George.
Can't wait.
I think Josette's not here because she's getting honored in New Jersey. I think she's getting the key to the city or something like that for having the best New Jersey accent. But other than that, I think everyone else is here.
Yeah. I think
So,
so.
we're
Well,
just
it's only
missing-
2 days
we're just
before our
missing
training
Josette.
starts. So
Josette and Robbie. Yeah, which it's a shame we're missing Josette because then we'd have everyone would be here. She's the only one that's not going to be here, which is a real shame. But yeah, and then also I do.
Helen will be there till late.
Well,
2 weeks before the marathon.
I'm cutting Helen off. She's not. She's got to focus and
Tanya
sleep.
can stay,
Yeah.
but Helen has to
Yeah,
go.
Yeah.
Helen has to. She's just the good times roll.
It's
The
only-
good times roll. But I do have a game. But I want to get some ideas from you guys just on Gala Talk. This is Gala Talk, everyone, if you're listening. The new additions to our team. I do want to do a little
Some hazing.
little hazing, and I want to think what challenges we could do. That could be a kind of could it be karaoke? They have to sing in front of us. Could it be?
Oh, that's quite good.
Maybe they have to drink a drink that they hate, or they have to reveal a secret. I don't know, But we should do something just to give them a little, nothing crazy, but just
Many places will make the freshmen do like their own equivalent of like a talent show performance.
What do you think?
Like they do it together?
Yeah.
Make them do a play in front of us?
They have to do a performance.
Yeah. That actually does sound pretty good.
They have to perform for our pleasure.
Yeah. And then I was thinking as well.
That's a good idea. That's a really good idea.
People, because usually we've had house parties and a lot of people have turned up, the extended coffee club family, as we call them. If they want to know, should we send out a message to say, hey, we're going to be at this bar at this time?
Oh, I was going to invite them. I was going to invite them to your place. Please, that's not cool.
Well, I've just been honest with you.
I was going to put it on Craigslist.
I'm pretty sure the max amount of people I could have in my place is maybe 30. And then if it gets more than 30, people are going to be popping out the windows.
Yeah,
I mean, put that on Discord. Probably put that on Let's Run.
Yeah, put Ollie's address out there. Everyone's welcome to come. I mean, especially if we're going out at, let's say, 9:30, 10, whatever it is, like then that's a good time for everyone to go.
I was thinking there's a lot of bars around there that have a lot of space and people will be able to come in.
Definitely.
Yeah, so that's the plan anyway. I think we're changing to that. I got a text in the group chat, my failure, and then to revamp it as just...
No, not failure. A pivot.
My pivot to
improvement. Say improvement. Development.
It's going to be
development. Yeah,
it's going to be called the whole house pre-drinks.
We've been in the R&D phase of the gala. We got feedback.
Well, I actually already almost booked a party bus.
They're in Bowler. You can
rent one. We can rent one. That
if you really want,
you give it the location.
If you really want, you can still book one. It'd just be a much shorter ride.
It'd be useless.
I mean, we could get like a big party bus limo.
Do they have those ones in? We have those ones in Flag that you could rent in downtown Flag, and you like pedaled them, like a pedal bus thing.
Never seen one.
Like there's like a bar on wheels, and you have like underneath your seat, you have pedals.
Okay, yeah.
What's that called?
I don't know, but I think I've seen a lot. They
always look fun in Flag.
Madison.
Yeah,
I've never seen one in Boulder though.
No, neither have I. But
I've seen one in Denver. I have.
Denver. That sounds like a Denver thing.
Yeah, I've seen it in Denver. But yeah, so
it's gonna be cross training too.
We're gonna figure that out. How do we send out the invites for everybody else?
Probably
actually Tom
letters.
Tom Wang's gonna help me out.
Probably letters
by mail, I'd say.
Carry pigeon.
Tom Wang's gonna help me out with that, so he knows how to reach people. So.
What type of people are you thinking when you need Tom Wang's help?
Well, I'm thinking of like mostly. I'm thinking that this pregame is gonna be a lot of like close, like teammates, partners, close friends kind of situation.
Yeah.
You know?
Easy to send invites.
We just pick a bar right now.
I know what bar we're picking. Nitro.
Press play.
Press play, yeah. Press play, yeah.
Ollie wants to go to Nitro.
I said press play.
I'm telling his girlfriend he said that.
Meg wants to go. She told me she wanted to go.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. No, but I was thinking either press play, Rosetta, or...
I like the ones with games. I like press play.
Press play? Press play would be good. But there's another one is it the Down... No, is it the Downer?
The Sundown Saloon?
Yeah.
That has...
That's got pool. But there's like so many college... I guess it's college towns. There's a lot of college kids.
Yeah, but I'm thinking for people like Avery that
I'm just trying to dude, last time I went out in Boulder, I just felt so old. There's all these little kids,
well,
like
the nice
20
thing
year olds.
is we're not up the hill. So.
Is there a CU football game this Saturday?
Yes.
Where is it?
Let me check.
That would make a big difference.
I guess either way, everyone's partying.
I guess that would actually be. I guess that would make kind of fun if they win.
Well, I mean, a Saturday in a college town.
Well, no, CU playing or not playing.
CU hosted this.
They were at home a couple days ago.
They're playing Arizona.
In Arizona or here?
In Arizona.
So we got the town to ourselves.
But I mean, doesn't that mean that more people go out to bars to watch the game then? Because otherwise, everyone would be at the stadium.
Right, that's a good point.
So I think more people are going out.
The games are so late here that it's not like they go to the bar. They probably do go to the bars afterwards, but sometimes the games will finish I swear, like midnight.
I think regardless, a Saturday night in a college town is going to be
I
going
agree.
off. All right.
Well, maybe that'll be a good thing.
That's Gala talk.
Press play, 10:30.
Well, you do have
10 o'clock.
Halloween costume you could potentially wear still.
Which one?
You wore it the last Gala.
The chicken one?
Chicken?
Yeah. You just wear that.
I would love to wear that.
You should wear that, and then your teammates all have to be eggs.
Oh, wait. Do you think...
Just animal things.
So just thinking about us going out, do you think we'll get some, like, attention? Like, people will be saying, like, oh, it's a little bit too early to be going out in Halloween costumes? Or you think there'll be other people out in Halloween costumes?
Didn't think about
It
it.
is
I think I'm going to be too drunk to worry about that
Yeah.
shit. But I would say,
I'm not saying it's a bad thing.
I'd say that the 19th, though, if you think about like Halloween's on a Thursday, right? Most people from this coming weekend onwards will be dressed up in Halloween stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot of
I
Halloween
believe that.
parties
I believe that.
happening.
It'll
from this
definitely
point
be
onwards.
acceptable.
I think it'll be fun.
will
Also,
love
like,
it.
I really, really hope that. Oh, dude, this is a. Okay, sorry, I'm going to ramble. What we should do is we should pick the Halloween costumes that the freshies have to wear as hazing.
I like it.
What if they're on a team and they need to be in theme?
But we'd already know what team they're on if we set up the teams
Oh.
early, and then we say for the freshies, you don't pick your Halloween costume. We pick it. Give you Venmo us, I don't know, a budget, and then we have to make the costume out of the budget.
We should get on this pretty soon because
Well, I'm doing this like literally after this podcast. I'm sending it.
because
to
some people might be already having costume ideas, the team stuff. I don't know how. Whatever. We'll get to that. We'll get to that.
Yeah, let's make teams today and also decide what hazing. I mean, what's a nice word for it? We're obviously not going to haze them.
Introduction.
Stirring?
Introduction. What kind of introduction we'll do for the freshmen?
Nice.
Some kind of performance.
I like
You
it.
think a performance? The thing is that they're very, very comfortable doing that sort of stuff.
Really?
I think Kai and Maya. I mean, Olivia would be more hesitant.
I'll-
She's
bit more
more
quiet.
quiet.
I'll believe it when I see it.
Okay.
You're saying we should make them do something more difficult.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
What's next level? I'm trying to think of like how do we level that up?
I'm saying like when we go to the bars, they have to do something like
Oh, okay. Well,
like that.
we
kind
could
of,
we could make a like a what's it called? Like when you make like you do like a checklist type game, not a treasure hunt. Something I don't know. Whatever.
bucket list or
We'll
whatever.
think about it. We'll think about it. So, I think that was some very lovely, productive Gala talk, and it's actually got me very excited.
Sounds like it's the 4th annual Coffee Club Gala, autumn Gala hosted by Coffee Club in association with
Whorehouse Industries,
and Gus
Gus
Productions.
Enterprises.
I love it. I love it. Well,
Fantastic.
I guess it feels kind of weird to go from such a jovial, fun update to then my check-in, because not that my check-in is not fun and jovial, but in some ways it's a more serious thing. So I guess I'll just get into it. If you guys have any questions, please ask me a lot of questions because I don't really know. I've like so much to go through in this update. So if you guys have any questions, please ask away. But
Start with flying to Ethiopia.
flying to
Day one.
Ethiopia, way easier than you would think from Europe. Every time I heard about Ethiopian athletes like having to fly to races in Europe from Ethiopia, or Kenyan athletes or any African country, I was like, wow, that sounds terrible. Not that bad. It's like a 7-hour flight. And it's like a 1 hour time
yeah,
difference.
like almost no time change.
So it's actually not that bad as I thought. So for us, for Sinter and myself, we flew out of Venice to Rome and then Rome to Addis. And we got there in the morning. And then our first stop was Lallibelos. And then we took another domestic flight that same morning. We didn't do anything in Addis. But yeah, I don't know. And instantly, you're in a very different place that you haven't been before. I think probably the first big stressor. So it was just to, give a brief like summary almost, some adjectives. It was probably the most amazing trip of my life and also the most challenging trip of my life for sure. The hardest traveling that I've ever done. Just a lot of different challenges that I didn't expect. I would say we were prepared, but not fully prepared, We went into it it's our first time ever trying to do anything like this. There's people that are veteran travelers. That was not us going to these types of third world countries or whatever you want to call it. And the first example of that was getting to the airport and then being like, wait, we didn't bring any cash. And we're about to go to what is a relatively undeveloped town. And we're going to be doing stuff like touristy stuff or whatever you want to call it that costs money. Like we're not going to be able to pay for anything with our credit cards. Like we're used to just paying with stuff on credit cards. Let's go get some cash out. And trying to get cash out of the machine. Like I was like through the airport. I had to come back out of the airport. And then we needed like a kind of a lot of money. Well, it seems like a lot of money because their biggest bill is $200. And the conversion is, I think $1 is about 100 of their dollars. Like just that's very approximately. It's more like 115. But I knew that at the first place that we were going to visit all the churches that we wanted to visit was $100 per person. So I had to find
that's like
Wait, $100 per church or like for all the churches?
to be able to see all of them,
right.
which is a ridiculous price.
is it like 20,000
Yeah,
Ethiopian something?
exactly. So my first task was to try and get 20,000 birr or more out of the machines.
Each.
And they can't, like, you can't, it was just the biggest shit show ever. Like, they have limits. You can get like 6,000 out at a time. And then you're carrying, and it's in, the biggest bill is a 200 birr bill. So
She's got a wad
you're
of
carrying
cash.
so much money and you do not feel that safe carrying all this money around. So that was the first thing. And then, I mean, everything, like, it was very stressful having to do that, like, first off. But then we get there and it's fine. And it's, you know, you arrive, you fly in, and it's so green, mountainous, like the most beautiful place ever. And the weather is lovely. There's so many nice things. And then, you know, we come out of the airport in Lalibela, and like everything's organized with like the hotel. They're there to pick us up and all that. And everything's like cool, happy. Everyone's very friendly. I mean, these are people that interact with tourists all the time or chill. Start our drive. And then there's just like so many military with like AK-47s everywhere. And it's just like, oh,
Like,
fuck.
Just on the side of the road, like
Yeah, particularly because there's near the airport, because there's like a
Mm.
big checkpoint going to the airport. And it's like, oh, fuck. Like, yeah. And I knew going into it.
did you have to get searched or anything on the way
No
out?
searches. So yeah, this is like, it's so complicated and so hard to like simplify it. But so Ethiopia as a country has been through so much strife, so much war, and particularly internally. It's not like, I mean, they do fight with their neighbors, but within Ethiopia, there's a lot of different it's like split into different regions, and there's kind of like different ethnic groups from those regions. And there's been conflicts like a lot because of that, like really bad stuff that is like not like very well reported outside of Ethiopia, because they actively like don't let journalists like really report on it. But that's kind of like a different story. The point of me saying this is that right now there is a war going on in the Amara region, which is where Lalibela is, the first place that we were going. And it's like on the more central eastern side of the region, and most of the main conflict that's happening is all on the very western side. So it's actually pretty far away from where there's actual fighting going on right now, but it's still occupied by military. And within the last year, it's like swapped, like who occupied it. So there has been fighting over it in the last year, but right now it was like pretty chill, and it's just military that are just there kind of hanging out, like pretty friendly. I mean, I say they're friendly, but they're like carrying AK-47s. And like the thing is that I guess was maybe surprising to me is that a lot of these military people there they're really hard on Ethiopian people, but on tourists, they're friendly. Like they want tourists to come. They want to be nice to tourists. So for me, I mean, it was still scary at times. Like I didn't feel safe sometimes, but it wasn't the worst, you know? Like they would try to be nice to me. So there would just be sometimes where like the car would have to stop and they would have to get all the documents of everyone and check them. But for me, looking at me, like they'd be like, oh yeah, he's fine. The word for that they use for white people is Ferengi.
Ferengi or something?
Yeah, Ferengi. It's
Ferengi.
like what they say. Like it's so funny. Like if I'm walking around, or especially if I was like going for a run, I would just hear like little kids like when they see me and they just be like Ferengi, like just yelling it out. Like I heard that word so many times. So
It's not derogatory?
no,
really?
It just means like I looked up like what it meant, but it pretty much just means like I think it comes from Persian or something, but I think it means like European, white person or something.
It's really good timing. I'm reading a book right now based in Edis.
Really,
Yeah, it's called Cutting for Stone. Like
really.
Based in like the 50s or 60s in Ethiopia. It's really sick. But it was cool that you were there at the same time.
Interesting. Yeah, that'd be. I mean, the history of all that stuff is
Dude,
crazy.
it seems insane.
But yeah, so I mean, we were traveling, you know, Sintra and I. We were trying to. I should probably say like what our goal was. So, it was Cinta's first time returning to Ethiopia since she got adopted 18 years ago. So for her, it was a very significant and important trip to reconnect with the country that she's from and, you know, experience it. After being away for so long, unfortunately, we couldn't go to the actual town that she's from, which is Bardar, because that's in the thick of the war zone.
How close could you get?
I mean, this is the thing. Like when we were there, like there were some people that were like, "Oh no, you could fly into Bardar. Like it's more dangerous to drive." But they're like, "No, you could fly there and it'd be okay." And then there were people who we trust that were like, "No, definitely do not go there." So a big like a reference that we used was Yared's dad, because Yared's dad travels. His parents keep up with Ethiopia. They know, and he's like, "Yeah, definitely do not go
Really?
there." But then there were people there that were like, "No, it's fine." But this is like people that, you know, a lot of them kind of work in the like you can't really trust exactly what they say. So yeah, I mean, you couldn't driving it anywhere in that region was unsafe. So you really couldn't get that close unless you flew there, and we maybe could have flown there, but it would not have been smart to do. But so because we couldn't go there, we wanted to go see some of the beauty of the country that we could see. And the first stop, Lalibela, was, something that I really wanted to see, or we really wanted to see after looking up. It's a really famous town, city, whatever you want to call it, in Ethiopia, because it has these ancient rock-hewn they're like these churches that were like, they were I don't even know if construct is the right word. They were created by people digging into the ground. So they're like underground and they're dug out of the rock. Like the rock is dug out and to make the shape of the church. So they're like just an amazing, unique site. And so that's why we went there.
That's what it cost 20,000 or something.
Yeah, to go see them because they're so special and they're from, I think, the 12th or 13th century. Like
Holy moly.
It's pretty sick. So yeah, we were trying to see amazing things like that we could. Running there was so interesting. It was really terrible, actually. Not interesting, terrible. Because it was really, like in Lalibela specifically, because it was really hilly. And also, like, I didn't know where to go. The first night, I had to go get my run in before it got dark, obviously, because not safe to be out in the dark. And also there was a curfew there. Like the military had enforced a curfew there, so you couldn't be out after dark. And I went to this hill. This story kind of shows you the both sides of like this trip. I go for my run, just checking it out, and this little kid just joins me on the run and starts running with me. And he's wearing rain boots, and he's just running up and down this hill because I was just running down this one mountainside, and he was like so cool. I ran out to this cool viewpoint, and I did take like a lot of videos, so I do have kind of videos of all this that I can share. And these guys were just chilling, looking over the sunset, and they were just smoking, just hanging out. But they're like, "Yeah, come join us, come sit with us." And I was like, kind of can't. I'm running right now, but just like such cool experiences, beautiful. But then I had to stop running because the shepherds were starting to bring their ox home. And a lot of them will have a group of like, let's say 6 ox, but then they have a dog with them. And these are like not like nice dogs. These are like really fucking scary.
To like protect dogs?
They're there to protect the animals. So like I would not run close to these dogs at all. Like it was like quite scary. Like the kids were like, "No, do not run near those dogs." And then one time one of the kids like tried to walk past one of the dogs and the dog like nipped at his legs. Like it was like, yeah, scary. And then the shepherds, they would like, one time they were really nice to me. They were like trying to let me pass, and they have like whips, like they use whips, and they're like full like yelling at the dog and made the dog like go really far away so I could go past, stuff like that. But it just made the running very impractical. So that was not my best run, but an amazing experience regardless. But yeah, so Lalibela, we did a bunch of just visiting cool stuff, like nice hiking up the mountain, getting into the coffee. The coffee culture in Ethiopia is like the coolest thing ever because they drink so much coffee, and it's just the way that they hang out. I don't know if you guys have seen any videos of how they do it, but there's like a full coffee ceremony, and it's not like they do this full ceremony.
Yared's talked about it, and it's super cool. Like he doesn't like coffee at all, but he like the nostalgia of the smell and like the tradition and what they do.
Is that just special occasion?
No,
it's not.
They do it twice a day.
It really?
Well, it depends who you are, but like a lot of people would do it 2-3 times a day, and like the essentials of like what the experience is. Like if you go to, I guess they're not, I don't know what they're called. They're not called cafes, I don't think. But wherever they serve coffee, which is a lot of them, it's so cool because it's like, it's done, you don't even need to be, it's done fully in like, on like a table, like a small table.
Do you even order or do you just go in and that's the only thing?
You ask for coffee. You can do tea as well.
Mm.
But the way it works is they have just their fire kind of coals going like all day. They have it hot. And then there's like the full version of it. They have a lot of incense burning. So they'll burn some incense for you. And then they'll sometimes, this didn't happen every time. This was a bit more rare. They'll roast the beans right in front of you. And they'll like roast the beans. They'll come over and they'll like put it right in front of your face to smell it. A lot of people apparently like they just really they're like half just for the smell. So they want that experience of them to like roast the beans and come let you smell it.
Can you let them know like, yeah, that's good right there. Like don't roast it anymore. Or like
I don't know
a little more. That'd be funny.
Yeah, you could
Like a
you could
steak.
tell them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
steak. It's like I want
Like a
my
well done.
beans medium
I like
rare.
that medium rare. Thanks.
No, they're roasting their beans pretty aggressively there, I'll say. And then they're grinding them by hand, and then they have
That's
like this
so cool.
big clay pot kind of, which is where they just make the coffee inside.
Coffee and water?
Yeah, coffee.
Or was it
and
always
water.
black?
It's always black.
Sugar?
You can, yeah, they often put sugar in it, like quite a lot of sugar. And then they just pour in front of you. And then it's just cool. It just smells so good. It tastes so good. One of the funny things is that they fill your glass up to completely full. Like the cups are not big. You can get like as many refills as you want. It's almost like maybe the equivalent of like a flat white, maybe slightly smaller than a flat white size glass, but they fill it up literally to the brim. So like whenever you try and like pick it up, you spill it. And like there's a saucer, but apparently if they don't fill it up, people like get annoyed. Like the people want it fully.
It's
They
just
want
like
it
the
up to the
culture.
brim.
That's just
Yeah.
like what you do.
It's what you do. It's the culture there. So yeah, that was our first time was doing coffee. We did a few times there, and every time it was just so nice, so cool. And it's like
What's the coffee
extremely
cost?
cheap.
Yeah.
I think, I mean, for us, our price, I think was maybe around 20 cents, 30 cents, something like that. Yeah, like
Holy
really
moly.
cheap. It's really cheap. I mean, like the thing is, this is, again, going back to like the dark side of being outside of traveling is how a lot of the time you don't know, like they can, whatever money they ask for you if you're white is probably maybe 5-10 times what they would ask for a local, which I mean, is annoying, but like I guess makes sense in some ways. But it does the haggling, like the bargaining, does sometimes just feel like you're getting really fucking screwed. But yeah, with the coffee and stuff, they were good. It was like it's very reasonable, 30 cents price. So that was nice. But
What about food?
food, it's great. It's just injera and like like the traditional Ethiopian different like dishes, which are all
Curry type
they're all
dishes?
curry, similar to curry type dishes. Like they all take a while to prepare, and then they
How much injera do you eat?
so much like it's like lunch and dinner every day, pretty much. Until I started having some like Western food because my stomach, like if I didn't have like stomach problems, like I thought I might run into, it was more just I can't eat that much of it. And we were doing so much stuff, so we was definitely, and I was at between 8,000 and 10,000 feet the whole time. So I using a lot of energy. So I had to eat a lot of food, but I just can't eat that much injera. Like like for some reason it feels like I don't know. It's not like I get sick of it, but I can't eat a lot of it. So
It is super rich.
yeah,
Like maybe.
yeah, it is. But it's like
So what'd you
just
fill
not
up
getting
on?
enough. I just lost weight.
What's the Western food that you?
Yeah, what'd
that
you find?
Yeah, what was
Like-
the Western food that you?
Like
found?
Italian food.
Okay,
Mm.
so like pasta. And
Yeah, they
pizza.
often
Same.
have those options at like hotels
Yeah, true.
and stuff like that, for example. Not in like the small town, but at like the hotel, they would have those types of things available. So yeah, we ate it. I mean, Sinta, I think, had injera almost every meal there. And it was awesome. She was loving it. They one thing that I didn't realize before going to Ethiopia was how religious the country is. So it's predominantly Ethiopian Orthodox, I think is what you would call the religion. And so they fast on, I think it was Wednesdays and Fridays, maybe something like that. And what it means is that, like, and you can still order it, but like they don't eat until I mean, everyone does it slightly different. They don't eat until maybe 2 p.m. or maybe a little bit later on those days, and then they don't eat any meat on those days. So every restaurant you go to, they have like fasting. They have like specific things that you'll order on fasting days, and apparently, like if you're an outsider, you can order meat on those fasting days, but you're not meant to, because I think they don't. It's not going to be as fresh on fasting days because they won't like slaughter animals or something like that on those days. I don't know. So yeah, we some days we were eating like full like vegetarian type stuff, which was like awesome. Like it all tasted really, really good. We loved it, honestly. But yeah, for me, the food was not a challenge. I guess getting enough calories in was a bit of a challenge. But also we were just doing so much stuff and we were at such high altitude. So I think it was always gonna be hard for me to get like enough food in while you're kind of living that lifestyle. But yeah, so we did a few days in Lalibela, and then we went to Addis, and the first day there, we were there for like a religious celebration called Mesco, which was really cool to go to the church and do all that. Addis was a bit intimidating because like, so we have a teammate, Sige, who lives there in Addis, and she was like so helpful, so amazing, but she just kept warning us, like, be careful, like there's so many thieves there that'll like steal your phone or something like that. So I was just always on such high alert. And one thing that I haven't mentioned as well is that was really challenging for us in the first few days was everyone asked you for money. That was the first time I've ever been in a place where, especially like kids, like they just ask you for money.
Like they
constantly.
just see you're a foreigner.
Yeah. Like maybe the first 2 words in English that they'll learn is "give me money," and they'll come up to you and say like, "Give me money, give me money," and you feel bad for some, like especially they know to like wait at like the tourist places, and like that was, I guess, even like taking one step back from that, maybe the thing that was the most challenging for me in those first few days was every single person that you interacted with, you didn't know if they wanted to have like a genuine interaction with you or if they just wanted money from you, which sucks,
Yeah.
because you're traveling through this special place. And so you would like to connect with the people in a genuine way, but you don't know if they're just doing it because then like, if they do something for you, they'll expect it, and you're white, like they'll expect you to give them money after it.
Did you do that?
Yes, initially, but then we found out that especially for children, it's like pretty bad to give them money. So this is like kind of like I would say a rookie traveling thing that we learned. So
it's a tough thing to know.
Initially,
unless like
how are you gonna know that?
Yeah,
exactly. And then you also like we would ask our guide sometimes, but then we also didn't fully trust our guide because our guide was from the city. And he definitely was sometimes like, I mean, he knows these people, like at the shops and stuff. So sometimes we don't know if we fully trust like what he's saying right now in terms of like we asked him like, how much should we tip this guy? And he's like, gave us a number. And we're like, that doesn't sound quite right. And then we like told Sige often, and she's like, that's like a crazy number to tip. Like, do not do that. So yeah, there was some stuff like that. But what we did learn is that especially for children. So, I mean, it's fair if someone, you're a tuk-tuk driver or like tipping those people obviously makes sense. But for children in particular, and so many children are asking for money, what you should do is you should buy stuff that's useful for them. And so in particular, that means like pens and stuff, like stuff that's useful for school. Because I guess an issue is that...
What do they do with the money?
Yeah, they'll give it, so they'll either keep it and spend it on stuff, or they'll give it to their parents, which... You might think it sounds good giving it to their parents, but then their parents might send them out to beg for money rather than sending them to school. So that's not what you want.
You don't want to encourage that behavior.
Yeah, so we found out giving them stuff for school is the way to do it, or just actual like material things. So we bought like a shit ton of pens at one point for the rest of the trip, and then
to have
to give out to kids, which was really nice to be able to do that because then they're really happy to get pens as well.
If they ask for money, be like, oh, just share that. I'll take a pen.
Yeah, and I mean interacting with children in my time was some of the coolest, funniest, most memorable experiences there. Just because I don't know, they all have such nice smiles, like they're good time. We went to visited the primary school in the first town, Lalibela, and like the kids were just loving it. Like the teachers let us come into some of the classes and experience it. It's really impressive. They learn English at like such a young age, or they try to learn English, like is very, very impressive. So that was really fun. But back to Addis, we were just at Addis for a couple of days before doing more traveling. The second day there, we were with Sergey and Daniel. We went up to the famous Kenenisa Bekele track up at 10,000 feet next to Haile Gebrselasi's resort, I guess, or whatever you want to call it, like kind of like training camp type, but I guess it's just a hotel as well. Watched Sergey bang out crush a workout at 10,000 feet on a track with holes on it. Saw a lot of very fit people running around training. After seeing it, I was just like, man, like Sergey coming here must be the easiest thing ever. Like how nice running is here, and at 5,000 feet of altitude, like for her, that must feel.
No wonder she runs with us.
Like a cakewalk. It must feel so easy. If you can train, literally after my trip, after seeing the places that are available for the best Ethiopian runners to run and seeing how hard their lives are there, I was like, if you can make it out of Ethiopia, like you're going to be one of the best runners in the world. Like no doubt. It's so hard there. Life as a professional athlete is so difficult there. And just for so many different reasons, it's really hard. If you can be a good runner there, like truly, I can understand why they're many of the best runners in the world. It was really eye-opening. And even that was like, so watched the workout, everything was all chill. And then we started driving down. I don't know how much of this like I want to say, because I don't want to be like, I don't know, just like making the country seem that bad. But it's a really sad country and a challenging, frustrating country in a lot of ways. We're driving back from the track, and I didn't realize, but so the track was, Addis is kind of like its own zone. And then where the track was up the mountain was in a different region. And so they have their own military there. And we were driving back, and then we got pulled over by military, and they asked to see like the IDs and stuff of like everyone in the car. And they didn't notice I was there initially. And I was like, I could feel the vibe in the car just change so much, just become like really tense. And I was like, well, like, okay, what's going on here? And it was very unexpected. And then
Are they speaking Amharic? Like, you know? Like,
yeah, I don't know what they're saying. And then they see me in the back seat, and then they open the door, and then they shake my hand, and they're like smiling. They're like laughing at me. They're like so happy to see me. And they like two of them shake my hand, and then they talk a little bit more, and they're like, okay, you guys can go. And then I asked Sergey after, I'm like, what happened there? And she's like, oh yeah, that was like, they stop you like all the time around here. And I'm like, well, was it like serious or was it like chill? Because those guys seemed pretty chill like when they saw me. And she's like, no, like sometimes they'll kidnap you, like literally, and then ask for like the equivalent of like $100,000 in money in butter. And then if you don't pay it, like they'll kill you. I was like, oh, so we almost just got like kidnapped. And she's like, yeah, like not really, because if you're a tourist, you're fine. And as an athlete, they'll treat athletes better. But like, yeah, like that's the life, that's the world that they live in there.
So why were they so happy and shook your hands? Because you're a tourist?
Because I was a white person, and
Yeah.
they don't see many white people.
Right.
Yeah. So I was like, fuck. So I was like, yeah. I was like, wow, that's really scary.
Yeah.
That's really fucking scary. Really serious. I like, because like once Sergey finished the track session, I was like, why would you want to come live in America? Like, this is so good for training. You're crushing sessions at 10,000 feet. And then after that experience, I was like, oh yeah, I would definitely never want to live here. I would definitely want to live in America if I could. Like, just feeling safe, you know? And then there was, I want to get like just more of that type of stuff, like that she's experienced and a lot of the people I've experienced. I was like, yeah, this place is, it's just like, it's a country that I think has so much good history and so much potential, but it's never going to achieve any of that potential if it doesn't find like peace, you know? And I think it's just sad that, because like I think all the people are pretty chill, but it's like, you know, politicians that are fighting. And yeah, so that part of it was just sad and very challenging for me and Sinta. But yeah, after that, after the day in Addis, we went to the Tigray region, which was, I'll go a bit quicker through the rest of it, which we saw more just amazing, even older like sites and just beautiful places, and had a lot of great experiences. Saw a bunch of monkeys and some camels. We climbed up. Probably the most special place specifically that we visited was in the Tigray region. And it was a church that was like built into like a rock mountain, and you had to like climb up the mountain to get to it. So it was like a very cool experience and a very special place. So that was super awesome. The Tigray region is where Yared's family is from. So Yared's dad was actually there, and we were trying to hang out with him, but he I don't know, we didn't get to in the end. He had some other business to take care of. Also where like Sigay is from. I think a lot of the runners are from the Tigray region. But that's also where there was a really bad war there, like it ended 2 years ago. So not many tourists. I guess I should say that, and part of this story is that I think up to 2019, Ethiopia was developing at a really good rate. And in particular, there was a lot of money coming in from tourism, and things were a lot better for a lot of people then at that time. And then since COVID hit, and then 2 wars, there's been almost zero tourism. So all this infrastructure and all this investment that went to tourism has then had no fruition. So there's a lot of people that are really struggling because of that. So, and they told us a lot of times like, yeah, this place is way worse since all that happening. Like people are a lot more desperate. Things are less safe. Like all these negative repercussions from that. So that made it challenging, but also they were very, very happy to have us there as tourists. And they're like, yeah, go and tell everyone how cool it is. And so we get more tourists coming, which, I mean, that's the thing. Like, I don't want to make it sound like too negative, because it was definitely an like very positive trip. Like, it was so amazing. And I'm so happy that we went and did it. And we will go back to Ethiopia again for sure. Like, hopefully definitely when things are more safe, we will go back again. But yeah, it's just a trip that was unlike no other that I've been on, and any other that I've been on, and had all these challenges. So Tigray region, did a few days, and the Tigray region we could drive through. It was safe to drive now. So that was cool, getting to actually drive and see like even smaller towns and all this stuff. That was cool. The running was so hard because and we would have like pretty full schedules for every day, or very full schedules. So every day I'd run at like 6 a.m. Like I'd just wake up and have to run like before breakfast, and that was brutal. And then we finished the trip by doing a few more days in Addis, which were good. Addis is a big, crazy, chaotic city. Definitely not the nicest city I've ever been in. Quite polluted, very, very hectic, but a lot of really cool stuff to see there as well. So that was nice, and got to spend more time with Sigay and Daniel and stuff there, which was good. And I mean, in Addis, we were staying in like a pretty decent hotel. So like when we're at the hotel, we could actually have like good Wi-Fi and stuff, which was good. Not that like that's that important in a trip like that, but I mean, for us, like it was nice to have some of those luxuries back again. One of the coolest things in Addis was going to Tomoka Coffee, which is the main, I think, coffee cafe shop there, and it was so good. Like they make such good coffee there, and it's got a big Italian influence. So Italy tried to invade Ethiopia unsuccessfully a couple of times, and so they've left a pretty big imprint on the country in some ways. And so at Tomoka Coffee, it's interesting because it was like a chain, but each cafe was unique. It's not like a Starbucks chain. It was like really, really good quality. And
they have espresso machines?
Yes, they.
Yeah?
So at this one, they make a lot, like macchiato is like the drink that you get there, but it's kind of a bit bigger than maybe a typical macchiato, and it's so cool. It looks so pretty because the way they make it is slightly different. I don't know if this is exactly all the steps and how it's different, but they put the milk in first and then the coffee.
I was about to ask if that's what they do. They like put the shot on top of it.
Yeah, like they'll like froth the milk, they'll put it in, and then even sometimes I saw them taking the glass and then putting that in the milk frother and frothing it more inside the glass, and then they'll put the shot on top of it. So it makes it look really different and looks cool, but it tasted amazing. And the shops are really cool vibes because they have all this history, and even some of them have like coffee plants in front of the shops. Like, so out the front of the shop, they have actual like coffee trees.
So you know.
Yeah. So it was a good vibe. It was like really fun getting to visit those. And then, yeah, Addis was good. I mean, we had a really good driver. We had to organize like guides and drivers for everywhere and
Every place.
Yeah.
How do you find them?
Through like
People you know, or just like online, just looking for them?
Like online. I mean, you can, if you knew someone, yeah, I would trust them. But no, like we had to find online. That was another thing. I like messaged Olli. I was like, I messaged Olli.
I shot myself.
Yeah, I messaged Olli. I was like, "Hey, bro, I might need your help with transferring some money."
Well, you asked a question like it was like.
Oh, he told
I
me
asked
about
what
this.
your bank was.
You said, "Oh, you have this bank, right? You have this like a similar bank." And
Is it, do you guys still have a Wisconsin bank or something?
No,
What?
it was something. It was a different bank. It was something like he's like, "Oh, do you
Western
have this
Union
bank?"
is the name of it.
Yeah. So I looked it up and I was like, "I don't think I have this bank, mate." And he's like, "Oh, I need to like."
Well, because
get some money.
what's your bank code?
My bank's now BMO.
Did
Bank
you at
of
one
Montreal.
point have like Bank of the West? Or, did you have?
Yes, but they got taken over by BMO.
Okay, so this is where I got confused. So this is what happened. So one of the tours that I had that we were going on, it cost about $1,000, and
Not $1,000 beer, $1,000.
$1,000 US, and I had assumed that like they had an office or something in Addis, and I'd be able to go there and pay with
The card.
credit card or debit card.
Right.
That's what I thought, and I'm gonna blame the guy because I feel like he should have been more clear on like how I needed to pay. He like expected me to bring $1,000 in cash. And then it was like 1 or 2 days before the thing, and he starts blowing up my phone with all these messages, and he's like, I've already booked like this stuff and spent my own money. Like I trusted you. I was like, dude, I don't know what you want from me. Like I thought I was gonna be able to pay you like in these other ways. Like you didn't tell me. He's like, no, I told you to pay with cash. I'm like, you definitely did not. So there's a big like shit show. And then I ran into some tourists in the airport, actually from New Zealand, who had said, yeah, we had the same thing. And we had used this service or bank called Western Union to pay. And apparently it's like, they're like, yeah, it seems kind of shady, but you can like instantly transfer money really easily. Because, if we tried to do a wire transfer from one of our banks, it would normally...
flagged.
Yeah, so I couldn't do that from my bank because if I was trying to make that transaction, they would try and call me to approve it, and I couldn't get a phone call. And then also on top of that, it would take, I think, like 5 business days. Whereas Western Union, you can like do them instantly with like no information. So I was asking you if you had a Western, because I thought you did. I got it confused
Bank
with
of the
Bank
West,
of the West.
Western Union. Because when you text me, I was like, I don't think I've ever had a Western Union bank. And then I said, oh, what's up? And he's like, oh, I just need cash.
Yeah.
And then when I heard you say that, I was like, in the back of my head, and I just, it's just a panic mode back of that. It's like, shit, Morgan's been kidnapped. He needs cash.
So I was like, that's going to seem pretty sus.
Because I got up and I started anxiously walking around my apartment, and Gus was following me around. I'm like thinking, fuck, I'm going to have to get cash. But then when you said everything was all good, I was like, okay, well, you wouldn't tell me everything was all good if everything wasn't all good. So I was like,
so how'd you pay?
So it turned out like I could make my own Western Union account, and then through Western Union, you could pay with a debit card. It was like really easy to pay in the end through this one service that I just didn't know about. So crisis
it all worked
averted.
out. It all worked out.
Dude.
But I fucking freaked out when you got that text because I was like, wait, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
Oh, I've panicked. And when you said cash, I was like, oh, God.
Yeah, so there was just a lot of shit like that. And yeah, I don't even know what I was talking about. We're up to in the story, but
The
yeah.
guide with the $1,000
Yeah,
trip.
the guide in Addis was so good, looked after us so well. Going for Cinta it was so funny because I was like struggling so bad with the altitude, and Cinta was like chilling. She's like, what are you talking about? This feels fine. I was like, maybe you got to train at a higher altitude or something. Like, I mean, because she's born at such high altitude, she definitely has it in her blood. I don't say in your blood, but in her genetics.
In her genetics, yeah.
I was like, maybe you should be training at 8,000 or 10,000 feet. I think maybe it would work for you because after that trip, I mean, I already knew this. I'm born at sea level. I do think altitude works for me, but not above a certain, not above 8,000 feet. That does not work for me at all. I was struggling.
Morgan's tipping point.
I was struggling.
So dude was just telling me that this morning.
Yeah.
It's good to know your limits.
Morgan was hurting.
I was hurting very bad. So I did not, but Cinta, it was great. And yeah, I mean, I'm not going to tell the story for Cinta, but for her, it was a very amazing trip as well. But a lot of challenges.
How many brownie
different
points
challenges.
did you get after this?
Lots of brownie points in the bank. Lots of brownie points in the bank.
In the bank. Morgan's done well as a boyfriend.
So Ethiopia was good. And then, so initially we were going to spend more time in Ethiopia, but then because we couldn't visit her city, her town, we were like, okay, let's change it up for a few days. Where's a cool destination to go that's different? And we're like, let's go to the beach somewhere because, I mean, we live in the mountains. We spend a lot of time in the mountains, even like training in St. Moritz. Ethiopia is all mountains. Let's go to the beach. And we're like, okay, let's look up what's near there. And the Seychelles came up and we're like, fuck, that sounds like a cool place to go. Let's go there. So then we did, I think, 3 or 4 days in the Seychelles, which was...
It sounds like a nice, relaxing way to...
Very nice, relaxing,
finish that
amazing,
trip.
A beautiful, unique place, which I could talk about that for a long time as well, how amazing and unique the Seychelles
I'm very
is.
jealous about that lot. When I saw the photos, I was like, oh, fuck.
It's like
Some crazy water,
That's
huh?
my...
crazy water,
That's
crazy
my cup of
rocks.
tea.
I think the rocks there are very
Yeah.
famous. They're like these granite rocks.
Yeah,
And
that's my cup
they
of
got
tea
these
right
special
there. I love that
coconuts
shit.
there.
I love that shit.
They
So pretty.
we spent, there's like it's a bunch of islands and there's like a main one, but we didn't spend any time on the main island. We went to the second largest island for a few days, and then we went to third largest, or in terms of population, largest island. And that place doesn't have cars, so it was just bikes, which was a nice vibe.
That's pretty
And
sweet.
It was nice to be able to run somewhere that was a bit more flat as well. The third island was called Ledig, and I did a run there. And then, so there's a lot of French people. It's like, I mean, coming from Australia, I don't think I ever heard of the Seychelles, but I think it's a place where Europeans go. So I think there was mostly French tourists, and probably second would be German. And I mean, the story of it is really interesting in terms of like the culture there, because there wasn't anyone there until I think it was like the 17th or 18th century or something. There was like, I think French and British, I don't know, people, armies, whatever, occupied at certain points. And they also brought slaves over from, I think, Africa and India. And that's like kind of what the birth of the culture was there. So there's 3 official languages, English, French, and Seychelles Swahili Creole. And that's the language that they actually speak there. And it's such a crazy like mind fuck of a language, because they'll be saying stuff in English and also then stuff in French. But then they'll be saying all this stuff that I'm like, what the hell did you just say? I have no idea. And the people there, like ethnically, the people there are like Creole. Like there's a lot of like Indian people. They're like actual Indian people and actual people from like Africa initially there. So it's like, this is such an interesting culture. But yeah, a lot of French tourists. And I went on the Strava leaderboards after my run because I got like top 10 in a segment there. And the one person,
Who was it?
The person that was above me was, I can't really say his name, but Thibaut Pinot.
What?
Yeah. Who is that? How you say his name?
Thibaut, yeah, Pino.
Thibaut. And you might not know.
Was he running?
Yeah.
Or-
He had a run there from 3 years ago, and he was like the one above me. And he's like probably the most famous French cyclist. He retired last year or the year before.
Like Tour de France?
Yeah, he's ridden the Tour de France for like
He's
probably like 15 years. or
He'd be
something.
like top 3 most famous French cyclists like in the last 10 years. Like he's so famous in
They
the
love
cycling
him.
world, and they love him.
Did he ever win a tour?
No, he wasn't like
Who
a
was the
GC
guy that
type
won a
runner.
tour they were twins? They were
The
French.
Schleck? No,
Not Schleck.
from France?
Yeah, they were
I don't
French.
know the last time a French person has won the tour.
Oh, anytime.
Yeah, maybe they got close, but they were
Stages,
twins.
maybe.
You might be thinking of I think the Swiss or Luxembourg, the Schleck brothers. I don't know.
I don't think it's Schleck.
That's
I thought
hilarious.
it was French.
But yeah,
that's
Thibaut,
that's
he was
sick.
like one above me on the thing, and he was like,
That's sick.
yeah, just doing a little jog. So, yeah, that was a nice way to cap it off. And then after that, fly back. A lot of travel.
What
Fly
was the
back to
travel
Italy.
back
That
from
sounds
there?
like a long way back.
Oh, dude.
How'd you
So,
do that?
the travel, I didn't really plan. I guess sometimes you just got to suck it off and bite the bullet. I didn't really maybe plan this out the best way, but the travel back from this island to Cinta's home was so bad because it was like we had to get a ferry to the other island, and then we had to get a plane from this island to the main island, which is like, like a 15-seater little plane. That's only like a 15, 20-minute one, like tiny. And then, so we had to get ferry, small plane, and then we had to fly back to Addis, and then Addis to Rome, and then we had like a 7 or 8 hour layover in Rome, and then Rome back to Venice. So it was like very long travel.
You went back to Venice,
and that only got you back to Italy.
Venice.
Yeah. So then
we did 3 or 4 days in Italy saying goodbye, and also because we did not want to take our luggage.
Yeah, picking up your stuff
on our trip. So picking up our stuff, and then back to the US
from Venice.
Yeah, there's a lot of traveling.
Dude, oh my gosh.
Hell.
Yeah,
Dude, if they were all United flights, you'd be 1K.
Yeah, I wish.
Yeah.
Actually, Ethiopian Airlines is Star Alliance. So,
There you go.
So
Maybe you got some points for that.
How's Ethiopian Airlines?
It's pretty good. I mean,
Pretty standard.
it's I think yeah.
Do they have injera on the
No,
plane?
they don't serve injera. They
Damn.
serve more basic stuff. But yeah, it's not the nicest airline I've ever been on. But I think pretty basic. But those flights, I was like, when I was looking at the seat map before, I was like, wow, this looks super empty. And then the flight from Addis to Rome was like the most full flight ever, both times, because it is, I think, I don't know if it's the biggest African airline, but it is, I think, one of the main flights that people that are going anywhere in Africa will take this flight to get to Africa. So it's just like the most fucking full flight ever. So yeah, it was a bit hectic sitting at the back, but not that bad. But yeah, so that was the trip. Very,
Dude,
I don't know.
No,
hard to
Life-changing
describe.
trip, surely.
Hard
That's a
to
life-changing
describe.
trip.
that was one of my favorite podcast segments. Dude, I loved hearing that. But
That's definitely
Thank you.
a life-changing trip. Like, that's something
Yeah.
that you'll never experience again. Even if you go back, you just will never ever experience that.
Yeah, not that
again.
first time with the innocence and the
Yeah.
yeah, going there for the
Even
first
the
time
wonder,
sounds
like what it's actually going to be. You
the
know?
what ifs, the unknowns. It was crazy, and that's just my experience.
Yeah.
Cinta's experience,
Much more impact.
very different thing.
I imagine.
Very obviously a lot of similarities, but
I do
lot of
want to get back
different layers.
to Africa so badly. You just
Yeah.
know, like, you go anywhere in Europe, like, it's Europe. Like, it's so predictable.
yeah,
Even though there's some really cool parts of Europe, obviously. But, like, you go to Africa, you know that you're in some place that's
it's
nowhere
different.
like you've been.
It's different. Nowhere like you've been for sure. So it's crazy. I think, yeah, definitely the type of thing that I would recommend everyone experience some of those things in their life, because I think it does have a big impact on you, and makes you. I mean, it sounds so cliche to say, but makes you appreciate life so much more. Like, I don't know, just so many hard things that you don't even think about, like feeling safe, like not feeling safe for like extended periods of time. It's like, I've never experienced that before. Like,
Just the constant mental toll of that.
having to like, I don't know, just, I don't want to get into it more, but just a lot of like layers of things that you just don't even, I don't think there's any way you can get a taste of it apart from being there and experiencing it. So yeah, and just Ethiopia, man, such a beautiful country, so many great people, but just also so much struggle, so many hard things. And I imagine that's true of like many other countries as well, but like that's just my experience with Ethiopia, and it's just a lot of potential, and it's just sad that it's so hard for so many people there, and definitely something that I'll keep with me, and I don't know what you do about it, but I don't know, we'll see what happens in the future. But yeah, that's it for today, I guess. I don't know anything else for us to talk about. We've talked about.
I think we've.
That's a great
That's
way
probably
to
the most widest spectrum of things.
This has probably been the one main podcast where we haven't talked about running that much,
Yeah,
which has been pretty fun and refreshing. I think.
yeah. I think
Like this is
great.
probably one of the biggest podcasts we've had without running being a very big center
Yeah,
of the talk, which has been cool.
No.
yeah,
If anything, it's actually
Nice
been
to
more
be
of a
back.
coffee club podcast
yeah,
because we talked about a lot of coffee in Ethiopia. So
yeah. Good
more
league.
of a coffee podcast, if anything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, it feels amazing to be
Yeah.
back in the studio with the boys.
Thanks for sharing. No,
Thanks for
honestly,
listening.
like that's a cool thing to listen to and for George and I in particular, I think that's a really
Appreciate
cool
it.
story. So
Appreciate it. Well, thank you guys for listening, and thank you everyone at home for listening. I hope you enjoyed this one as much as the three of us did, finally being back together. That's episode 156 of the Coffee Cup Podcast, and we look forward to seeing you guys all again next week. See ya.